It's time for our Elimination Chamber predictions. The first match on the card we're going to cover is the Women's Elimination Chamber match. So we have the following participants: Roxanne Perez, Naomi, Bayley, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair. They are all going to be going after Rhea Ripley's World Heavyweight Championship. This one I find interesting only because, well, it really could be just about anybody. Just about. But let's go through each participant here and see what their chances are. Like, starting with Roxanne Perez. I was sleeping on this, and when I got up, I thought to myself, what are the odds that they go and pull the trigger on Roxanne Perez? Now, she's brand new to the roster, to main roster anyways. She had a fantastic run in NXT, and I think that there is a very good chance that they could go ahead with Roxanne. It's a fresh face, somebody that can plunk right into the world title scene. Totally different matchup for Rhea Ripley. It could be a lot of fun, and you know what? It instantly elevates Roxanne Perez to a main eventer. I hesitate somewhat with that only because there's the story with Bayley, and I think they want to finish that in NXT and potentially even at WrestleMania between Roxanne and Bayley. Maybe. But I think it'd be a lot of fun if she won. Okay, next up, Bayley. I don't think Bayley wins. I think Bayley does get eliminated, but probably by Roxanne Perez, screws her over some way, maybe gives her a little cheeky roll up, something like that, hits her with the chair, and Bayley gets eliminated. I don't see her going to Mania to face Rhea Ripley. Naomi. Now, Naomi and Bianca, it's tricky. So Naomi specifically, I don't think that she is going to win the chamber. Doesn't make much sense for her to go after Rhea Ripley. There's no story there. Would it be a good match? Absolutely. But I just don't see it happening. More likely, I see Jade Cargill coming back and showing up at the chamber and getting involved and getting in the ring at the moment where it's Bianca and Naomi standing in the ring. And I could see Jade coming in there, huge crowd reaction. The three of them stand there together, and they're all smiles and everything. They all look at her, and then they look at Jade and they're like, hey, you're back, we're so happy. Jade looks at both of them, and then whoop-ha, and then Jade just dummies Naomi, throws her into a pod, all that stuff, and they go from there. Bianca could be kind of the mastermind behind this. Like, this attack on Jade could have been done by both Naomi and Bianca because they wanted to be buddies and tag team partners and push away Jade Cargill. Or it's solely done by Naomi. If it's just by Naomi, then there's your Mania match. Maybe Bianca's in the corner, or she's doing something else, or it's a tag team match with the tag team titles. So Bianca is one of the names in this chamber where I'm like, that's a very good match to do, the title match between Rhea and Bianca. I know Bianca is a tag champion right now. There's a better chance that she's going to be involved in a tag team title match, or she's going to be involved with something with Naomi and Jade. They really haven't teased anything at all between Bianca and Rhea. In the past, they have when they're both champions. I think that's a match that they want to get to. They want to do that match. I just don't see it working out this year. If she does win, then to me, it means that Naomi and Jade will go off and have their match, and then you'll have Bianca fight Rhea. And maybe before WrestleMania, Bianca and Naomi drop those tag team titles. Okay, let's talk about Alexa Bliss. Very interesting position for Miss Bliss. Now, I like that Alexa is back, but they're doing the Wyatt type stuff. It seems like Wyatt 6, when they get brought back to TV on SmackDown, they are going to link up with Alexa Bliss. I don't know what the story is there at all, though, and that's I guess part of the problem with this chamber match for the women is no one's really interacted with Rhea Ripley that much outside of Liv Morgan. Bliss, though, showing up, and you know what, week after week, maybe the Wyatts do get involved and they kind of merge the stories where it's Bliss going after Rhea, and at the same time the Wyatts are getting more and more involved with Bliss and impacting Rhea Ripley. They could tell a really cool, even dark story between Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss, who's now going to be buddied up with the Wyatts. So I'm kind of like, okay, Bliss I feel like has a decent shot of winning. Now then you got, last but not least, Liv Morgan. I'm not sure. Now, at the time of recording this, Monday Night Raw has not happened. There's Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley on Raw for the world title. So I assume Rhea retains and they want her to be champion going into Mania. Liv could win the chamber and go off to Mania. I don't see it though as a straight up one-on-one match between Rhea and Liv and just doing that all over again. I feel like the Judgment Day story is totally it's flat. We're done with it and we need to start moving on. And I think a better position for Liv is Liv and Raquel going after the tag team titles in multi-woman match at Mania, something like that, and maybe picking them up there. If they do have Liv win the chamber, then I think you should turn it into some kind of multi-woman triple threat match. Rhea, Io, and Liv. And I think it would be more entertaining, and you could have Io win, you could have Rhea retain. And if you did a multi-person match at Mania and Rhea loses the title, you could have Io pin Liv. Maybe that's what they want to do, is maybe even pick somebody where we can have a story at Mania that kind of starts and move on from there. So to give an official pick though, like, let me know, comment below, who do you got for the women's chamber? I'm gonna say, I'm really kind of torn here. Like, I really don't know what they're gonna do. I'm gonna say Bianca. Out of everybody in here, I'm gonna say Bianca, and I think that Jade will go after Naomi, and Bianca and Naomi will drop the women's tag titles because Jade screws them out of it, and off they go. Then you get Bianca going after Rhea Ripley. I'll probably be way wrong on this. Okay, the next match. Let's go over this tag team match that was newly announced. It's Tiffy time and Trishy time. We have Trish and Tiffany Stratton going up against Candice LeRae and Nia Jax for not much reason. I'm mixed on kind of the card for Elimination Chamber. I'm going to Elimination Chamber. Very excited no matter what. Gonna see The Rock and Cody. We'll talk about that in a minute. This match, I'm kind of like, why is this here? Like, this to me is like should be on the SmackDown in Toronto, not the pay-per-view. Trish and Tiffy are teaming up because it's Toronto. So Trish Stratus goes to Toronto, and I think it's a way for Tiffany Stratton to tie up the loose ends with Candice and Nia. Finally, kind of, because she's been getting dummied by Nia Jax every week. Charlotte's been getting involved at the end and just like booting her and sitting on a chair. And it's all very ooh. So I think that Trish, Tiffany Stratton, it's a great way for them to get the babyface win over the big dominant heels. You're in Toronto. Trish can raise the hand of Tiffany Stratton, really solidifying Tiffany as a babyface. Even as champion, she hasn't been a full-fledged babyface, and I think WWE wants to get there. So one way to get there is you have a legend in Trish, putting her over. They get the win. So I'm saying that they are going to win this tag team match, but I wish that they did something else. Like, maybe there's going to be more matches announced. Triple H likes his 5-match card. You got 2 chambers, a tag, a promo, and an unsanctioned match. Maybe they're going to do something like LA Knight, Nakamura, US title, something like that. But for this one, yeah, Tiffy gets the win. Maybe Charlotte comes out, confronts her. It'd be kind of good if Charlotte actually got physical. Maybe she takes out Trish Stratus and dummies both of them at the very end, stands tall, and Charlotte stands tall. You never know. All right, next up, let's talk about the unsanctioned match that is confirmed, but it's unsanctioned. We've got Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, unsanctioned rules. And this one I think has the potential to steal the show. You're in Toronto, they're Montreal boys, but you are going to have that hot crowd. And I think WWE has a chance to do something very special here and making this their blow-off match, their blow-off to their kind of lifelong feud. I think this will go all over the place. I expect pile drivers, chairs. I want to see some turnbuckle smashing. Like, I want to see a lot of different stuff from this. Make it violent, make it bloody. It needs that. And I think because there are very few matches on the card, I think this one will give you, like, it'll be 30 minutes or so of these guys just brawling and going all over the place. I hope they do it. Now, I did a video on this like last week. Go check that out with Sami and Kevin Owens on the thumbnail, and where I talk about how they can learn from unsanctioned matches from the past. The one that I want them to take note from is probably Triple H Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam, because it was violent, it was bloody, and the finish was the interesting piece to me. I think you could have it where Sami Zayn gets the win like Shawn did over Triple H, but it's that roll-up type of deal. And then Kevin Owens lays into Sami Zayn after to stand tall. So with that, I think the finish to this thing, Sami wins. So there's my pick. Kevin Owens stands tall, and Kevin Owens dishes out the package pile driver. Maybe 2 of them for good measure. And then that writes Sami off for a while. Now, where do we go from here? You could do a couple of things though, even at the chamber. You could have Randy Orton show up at the end of this whole unsanctioned match. And even if Kevin Owens stands tall at the very end, you can overbook the thing. It's Triple H. You could overbook this thing. Randy Orton slides in and hits Kevin Owens with an RKO, thus setting up their WrestleMania match, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, one more time. Because it's unsanctioned, kind of do whatever you want. Sami, I think, actually goes off and has a match with Karrion Kross after all of this. Write him off TV for a week, have him backstage a bunch, and he's interacting with Karrion Kross, and eventually they get that match announced when Sami's all healed up, and he goes off and fights Kross one-on-one at Mania. Sami wins, Kevin Owens stands tall, maybe an RKO. Okay, I want to do the men's chamber match next, and then we'll talk about Cody and The Rock. Wrap it up, that whole thing. So for the men's elimination chamber match, we have Seth Rollins, Logan Paul, CM Punk, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, John Cena. This is probably one of the most interesting elimination chamber matches for me in a very long time. Damian Priest? Nah. I don't think Priest is winning. I think Priest does okay, but he might get eliminated like first or second. Would it be Priest and Drew McIntyre going up against each other at WrestleMania? Maybe, but reports in the last few weeks were that, hey, they're kind of not cool with that. They haven't had like any interaction. Drew is having more interactions with Jimmy Uso and doing that and destroying him there. I don't see them just whipping this match together and having it really make a lot of sense or being a big thing for Drew McIntyre. I think he could win the Chamber. Like, he should win something very soon. But Damian Priest, nah. Drew, unfortunately, I don't see him winning the Elimination Chamber. But Drew, I hope, is going to do something really fun and really important at WrestleMania. Seth, I don't see Seth winning. To me, it comes down to John Cena and CM Punk winning the Elimination Chamber. Seth, I don't see him winning. I think he could get eliminated by Logan Paul. He could get beat by CM Punk. He could get beat by Drew McIntyre. I think a lot of stuff is just penciled in for WrestleMania, and with The Rock's whole soul-sucking business he's going to be doing now. If Cena wins, then we can get Cena and Cody Rhodes one-on-one at WrestleMania. I hope we see Cena of old in that his, bloody matches with JBL. Like, one where he could possibly dominate. I want Cena to look jacked, tanned, ready to go, serious version of John Cena, not chatting it up in the chamber like this is fun like he did at the Royal Rumble. I think Cena needs to have a little bit of a shift in his character, and I think we saw a little bit of that at the press conference, and we haven't seen him then since because he was filming movies and all of that stuff. I think you do need Cena coming out at the Elimination Chamber, having kind of his game face on, because he lost at the Royal Rumble. And I think maybe they could tell a bit of a story of Cena not taking it serious enough, and that, okay, he's clearly wanting to get to the title. He wants to break the record. Made that clear at the press conference at the Rumble. So if Cena goes into the chamber, you might want to have him go in and kind of go the distance, get some eliminations, and make him down to the final two. He could eliminate CM Punk at the very end, and then Cena goes off to WrestleMania, points at the sign, and you get one-on-one Cody Rhodes versus John Cena with the added bonus and wondering and sprinkling in the final boss, the Soul Sucker. Now, what if you have CM Punk win? Punk's whole thing for this year, and even last year, was getting to WrestleMania. And he's had the promos with Cody, and I really like that. And he's kind of teased and poked at John Cena a lot. He's had confrontations with Logan Paul, and he's obviously had the match. He's had problems with everybody except for Damian Priest in his whole 2 years or whatever. Now he's coming back. Punk winning could work. Punk going one-on-one with Cody Rhodes, that is a big main event match, and you do have the element of The Rock. I've liked the promos that we've seen with Cody and Punk one-on-one. I wonder if that has at all been WWE kind of testing out, how does this look? How does this feel with these two going back and forth? I really like the dynamic between them, and I do really like how it could shape up with The Rock kind of being ringside or being involved in the main event, whether it's Cena or Punk. So if Punk wins, then I think, unfortunately, John Cena then goes off and has a match with Logan Paul. I say unfortunately because I don't want that to be John Cena's final WrestleMania match, but I can see WWE wanting to do it because it's a money match that they could do, and John Cena could kind of put his big game face on and get angry and attitude adjust Logan Paul a bunch, and they could have that match. I think it would be good on the microphone, the promos would be good, but it's not something I'm interested in for Cena. I'm interested in him finishing that story of his. However, it's WWE, and we've seen that even with Cody's story. They like to take their time with it. So if Punk wins, Punk versus Cody with The Rock involved, Cena versus Logan Paul, maybe Drew and Priest, maybe mid-card title, like US title. Seth, I think, would go off and fight Roman Reigns. And Seth can close that story of Roman at WrestleMania, win or lose, but that would be a huge blockbuster match. I know there's the tease of the triple threat of doing, you could do Cody, Cena, and Punk. You could do that because maybe Punk pulls the favor of Paul Heyman to get him into the main event. If Cena wins at the Elimination Chamber, Punk could still insert himself somehow, some way by getting into that as a triple threat, which would be very compelling. Also, we don't know if we're gonna have Cena on TV every week. So you could have Punk and Cody kind of pull the weight, the heavy lifting of that main event. And then obviously the other triple threat that they talked about is Roman, Seth, and Punk, and those three going at it. And I don't like that as much because I don't find it, it's just a grudge match. Great star power, like that's a main event, but there's no title, and it's kind of like, okay, well, whoever wins out of that, then what does it matter? I just thought of something else. So what if Cena wins the chamber, points the Mania sign, he's going off to fight Cody Rhodes. Punk is the one who gets eliminated last by Cena. What if they do the triple threat, Roman, Seth, Punk, night one? What if the favor that Punk comes up with Paul Heyman is if I win that triple threat on night 1, I get added into the main event of night 2 to make it Cena, Punk, and Cody, and then The Rock is involved. That could also work then for Seth and Roman, and there's stakes then involved. There's motivation, and like they did last year, they had guys wrestle on night 1 and the story continued to night 2. If you had it kind of like a Daniel Bryan where he beat Triple H on night 1 and then he got to go to the main event and make it a triple threat. Seemed like a foregone conclusion then, yes, but it's still a really compelling story to tell. And they could do that where you get that triple threat between those 3 guys and that opens or closes night 1. And if Roman wins, you get Roman and Cena and Cody Rhodes all together, and you have The Rock involved, and what's that gonna do? And if you have Punk win, then you're telling that triple threat story, and you have Paul Heyman element, and you have The Rock. I'm gonna say John Cena wins. It's very clean, and if Cena wins, then it's not Logan Paul and Cena and Punk. Maybe he's gonna do something else, or he's gonna do that triple threat. It's Cena or Punk for me. Okay. The final thing on this card, as of right now, is the promo segment confrontation moment that they're gonna have between the Emperor, The Rock, and the Jedi as Cody Rhodes. The Rock wants his decision made from Cody. He wants Cody to come out and side with him and be his champion, be his corporate champion. Now, I want to do another video talking about this and kind of really dissecting this because there's a lot of layers in here. And I don't think WWE totally knows where they are going with this, but I think that this will be a story thread that they will use for the next maybe 2 years. I don't think this is culminating at Elimination Chamber. So let's break it down. Cody and Rock are gonna get in the ring. Rock wants an answer from Cody of like, will you be my champion, be my puppet, and I will own you basically. And you will work for me and I will give you all the riches because I am basically the genie. Cody, I think, is gonna say no. If he says yes, what sense does that make for Cody's character and also just how it works out at WrestleMania? Like, you can't have Cody just turn heel in a promo segment out of nowhere, basically, because The Rock said he'll buy him a new car essentially and give him some money, and Cody's already the top guy. So I think you are going to have maybe a better segment than what we had on SmackDown, where you have these two and Rock talks it up again and Cody is kind of humming and hawing and thinking about it, but ultimately says, no, like, Rock, I can't do that. I'm the champion here. I am their champion, like I said, and that's that. I think Cody basically says no, and The Rock is then going to hint at what's going to happen to him next. What can happen to Cody Rhodes if he's choosing to say no to The Rock and not join him? The Rock talked in the press conference after SmackDown about how this story element of the final boss and the taking his soul, and it's not about championships, it's not about having a match, so I don't think that's ever going to happen. It's about doing more than that. So I think that you are going to get this as the start, the official start of Cody's evolving story into WrestleMania and afterwards. Can The Rock show up at Mania Night 2 in the main event? Yes. I think there's elements of McMahon Austin in there. I think there's elements of Austin McMahon at WrestleMania 17 in that finish. I think you can also sprinkle in Corporate Rock, where you had The Rock turn and join the corporation as the corporate champion. Cody might turn heel at WrestleMania. Might do that, or The Rock is going to use somebody else and they switch it on everybody. I think they will then be The Rock kind of teasing Cody that there will be consequences if you are not going to be my corporate champion. But we'll talk about that more in another day. What do you guys think is going to be the Elimination Chamber outcome? Who's winning, who's losing, all that good stuff. If you guys want to talk more about Elimination Chamber, click this video right here. Have a great day. See ya.